Hey all, it's Solo. So in today's video, we will be doing a tier list, but this tier list will be a little bit different. This will be rating the best debuffers, stats debuffers in the game that can help you not only through Mega Plus difficulty, but also through your normal playthrough. So what we're going to do first is we're going to show off some Digimon and then we're going to go into the tier list. These are the Digimon I have found to be one of the best in terms of debuffing skills. Let me know in the comments below if you find any other ones. I'll be quite interested to see what people come up with. So, first off, we're going to go with Megadramon. So, with him, he has a certain attack called Hell Howling. It only targets one enemy, but has a null damage attack of 80 with a 70% chance of a 20% reduction in the intelligence to the enemy. And obviously if they have 9999 stats, which they do on Mega Plus difficulty, 20% is 2000 reduction on their stats, which is really, really big. But even more potent is the fact that there's a 70% chance to crystallization to the enemy. And if you did not know, when you crystallize an enemy, all they can do is normally attack. They can't do any of their special moves. So that's really, really potent. And this guy is actually strong against fire and darkness, so it's really good against certain matchups, and so like the fire area, for example. And he's also a mount, so he's a pretty cool Digimon to have, right? And he does an AoE skill as well. If he kills the enemies, he actually gets a 20% boost in attack for 3 turns as well if he kills the opponent. That's really cool. This guy, I think this guy is the most underrated Digimon in the game. No joke. I looked at him and I was like, wait a second, have I been missing out on this guy? So this guy, Mirage, oh god, I'm gonna butcher his name. Mirage Gigamon BM. I'm sorry I butchered his name, but I've been sleeping on this guy. He's resistance against lightning and wind, but he's got this certain attack. This attack does a light damage with 105 light damage, which is really, really strong. Anything over 100 is strong. But not only that, it's an AoE. So it does 105 damage AoE attack with a 100% chance for a 20% reduction on an all user stats for 3 turns. So every single stat in the game, attack, defense, intelligence, SPI, and SPD, gets a 20% reduction. So in obviously Mega Plus difficulty, that's 2000 reduction on every single stat with the enemy for 3 turns, and increases damage with Immortal Trait. This is probably the most underrated Digimon I have ever seen. The fact that it has a reduction of every single stat with an attack power of 105 and it's an AoE skill probably makes it one of the strongest attacks in the game by far. It's absolutely. I'm going to be using this Digimon for my main Digi team. I didn't realize how strong this Digimon was until I actually started looking into debuffs and stuff. But yeah, probably one of the strongest attacks in the game. And the second attack is perform a light attack of 100 with increased spirit trait. It's still 100. Anything over 90 is actually really strong. So 105 in the AoE is just absolutely insane. So I've covered already with her, but she's probably one of the best debuffers in the sense that she always has a 100% chance to do deadly poison and injury. 100% chance of deadly poison. It does like 2,000 to 3,000 damage per turn after the enemy attacks, and injury actually stops them from healing themselves. So that's the injury himself is just insanely potent, right? Lilithmon is probably one of the best debuffers in the game. Apart from this guy's ridiculously strong. But the fact that she can stop people from healing makes her really, really strong. Junomon. I haven't actually covered this girl. Didn't realize at the time because I actually used her Digivolved form. But Junomon, attack power of 90, 3 hits of 30, which is really strong. Single target only, but 100% chance to apply deadly poison. So you get that deadly poison effect as well. Not as good as Lilithmon because she only does single target, but she has a very strong attack. It's really good. And this one, counter physical. Upon receiving physical damage, counters all enemies with a dark physical attack of 105. So she's got a counter, which is really, really strong. And she's obviously immune to light damage and resistance to lightning. So she's really good as well. So, Loosemon, I hope I pronounced that right, SM. This guy, instant death. 15% chance for instant death. I don't think that works on bosses. I think that bosses are immune to instant death. Well, I think most of them are. Some of them might not be. But it does an AoE, attacks all enemies with a 15% chance of instant death with a light attack power of 90, which is very strong. And he does a single fire damage as well. But the instant death AoE spam and his resistance against dark damage and fire damage makes this guy ridiculously strong in terms of just having that odd grinding chance, going out and just grinding the world to try and grind stuff. This would be really good just to kill the normal mobs. We have Jupitamon. So Jupitamon actually sort of buffs and debuffs himself. Well, yeah, he debuffs the enemy and then buffs himself. So what he does, he has a 50% chance of paralyzation and immobilize. 50% chance to immobilize the enemies with his single target attack. When he does that, he then uses a second attack to increase his power if the target is paralyzed or immobilized. So basically, he has a 50% chance to paralyze immobilize the enemies. That's really strong in itself. But he actually has the ability to buff himself because when he immobilizes the target, he does extra damage. So it's really good to paralyze the enemy. They basically lose turns. Mega Plus difficulty is really, really big because obviously if they can't attack, they can't hurt you. He's immune to lightning and light damage. He's weak against darkness, but he's immune to lightning and light, so it might be good in certain situations against light opponents. And don't worry, that's not all. That's just how many people I can get in the party. So we've got this guy. This guy, Ancient Wisemon. He targets all enemies, performs null attack power of 80, which is not bad. 50% chance to immobilize the enemies, 70% chance of a 20% reduction in defense for 3 turns. So that's really, really strong. The fact he has an AoE damage, that 50% chance to immobilize enemies. So he can AoE spam the entire enemy team. And there's a 50% chance that they're immobilized, so they'll lose turns and be unable to attack. Really, really strong. His resistance against steel and null damage as well. He's pretty strong. I slept on this guy. And he has a single target damage of 105, which is really, really strong as well. So in terms of... No, not that one. Where is it? This guy. Barbamon. I think I pronounced that right. This guy is actually really, really strong, and I actually slept on this guy as well. He does an AoE damage of 70, which is okay. He has a single target, 100% chance, 30% reduction of SPI for 3 turns, which is the healing ability for the enemy Digimon. But the 80% chance to apply Chaos. I think this is the highest Digimon, or the highest Chaos chance I've seen on any Digimon. So 80% chance of Chaos. Probably the strongest. I haven't seen a 100% chance to apply Chaos, so I think this is the highest chance to apply Chaos in the game. So, yeah, if you're looking for something that debuffs Chaos, this is probably the guy to go with, right? He's also immune to darkness damage, so if you're going against, and fire, he's a resistance against fire. So if you go against darkness type Digimon, he won't take any damage whatsoever. That's not all though. We got loads. We got loads of debuffers. Jesus Christ. We have this guy as well. Briasmon. This is the evolution, the flying evolution. He has the ability to do AoE damage with plant physical attack, but it has 10% chance to do instant death. So if you had this guy on your team, right? You had this guy on your team, and then you also had this guy on your team, right? You attack twice, and you have like a 1 in 10 chance to insta-kill the whole team every time, because you think it's 50% chance here, and you've also got a 10% chance here, but they're both AoE attacks, right? You have the chance to insta-kill the whole team. So if you're farming, you probably want to use these 2 guys to literally just go and farm and just spam that one skill. It's an AoE skill, but like I said, there's a 1 in 10 chance of killing them, and you're attacking 2 times per round, right? So basically it's like 1 in 5 chance, because you're doing it twice, to insta kill the whole team. And obviously he's immune to earth damage, he's immune to plant damage as well. So that's really, really strong if you're going against them type of opponents, right? We also have plenty more. We have so many more. Is it this guy? Yes. So does an AoE attack of 80 dark damage, 100% chance to 10% reduction of speed for the enemies, with 10% reduction for speed for 3 turns. It's not too bad. Probably not the best one to go with, to be honest. Oh, this guy's pretty cool as well, actually. There's an Ebimon. this guy steals stats changes. So if the opponent buffs themselves, this guy will come along and just steal the buff and use it for himself. It's actually really, really cool. I don't really use this guy. I think he was a boss in one of the fights. I can't remember. But he's immune to plant and earth damage, or resistance against plant and earth damage. He steals the opponent's stats. And then his second attack, 90 is quite a high electrical damage attack anyway. The greater the user's stats buffs, the greater the damage. So this is really, really potent with the stats change guys. So if he gets buffed, he gets extra damage. So not only does he steal the opponent's buffs, he actually gets buffs from the other guys that buff him in the team, and then he can use that to then strengthen his attack. He could probably be an extremely slept on Digimon, just because obviously of that status change. If he can buff his 90 damage power, and if he gets, I don't know if it's like 10 damage per buff and he has 2 or 3 buffs, he could probably be one of the strongest damaging Digimon in the game based on that, right? Because obviously 105, I think 130 is probably the most powerful attack in the game in terms of damage, but the problem is that normally comes with drawbacks. But if you can buff that up and have no drawbacks, that'll be absolutely insane, right? Are we doing this? No, not this guy. No, not this guy. Yeah, I think that is. Oh, this guy as well. So this guy's really potent as well. This guy forms a physical attack of 100 with single target. That's extremely high. 100 damage is extremely high damage. But it has 50% chance to apply crystallization. Crystallization basically makes them only use, like I said, the physical damage is only, not their special attacks. He's resistance against darkness and null attacks as well. So he's really, really quite strong as well to have in your team if you want to get a crystallization down as well, right? In terms of, we have Mervamon. She does AoE spam, and she has 60% chance to apply deadly poison. Honestly, I don't see why you'd use. She has critical rate, but I probably wouldn't use her over like Lilithmon. Lilithmon's just basically the best in the game in terms of the AoE spam. In terms of stats, she's just probably one of the best debuffers in the game. But going over that as well, going over some of these guys, there isn't anything other. Oh yeah, and you got this guy as well, Chronomon DM. Performs 1 dark damage, 100% chance to apply crystallization. Incredibly strong. This is probably one of the highest damage dealers in the game as well, because he nullifies resistances as well. But he's probably one of the best Digimon in the game anyway. 100% chance to apply crystallization, 70% chance of 20% reduction in attack, defense, intelligence, and SPI. If the target has 50% higher or higher HP, it does increase damage. So this guy, if you team this guy up with like this guy as well, they do 2 attacks, and they're going to have 20% reduction in stats with this guy. All stats reduction 20%, and then you're going to go with Chronomon DM. Use this, and one other guy's going to be completely crystallization, and also have a 20% chance to increase the reduction by another 20%. You can see where this is going. It's just incredibly potent how they do it. And obviously if you stack it with someone like this, who then goes and has increased damage based on the debuffs of the enemies, injury, and obviously disease as well, it obviously is very potent in terms of how you stack them up. So there's also this guy as well. All targets AoE spam of 80 damage with dark damage, 100% reduction in dark resistance. So you can basically just spam it, and you just keep doing increased damage every time, because it just reduces their resistances all the time. And then you have this guy to lower the enemy, the target, the lower your HP, the lower the damage. So keeping your HP high makes these guys do extra damage as well. But and there's this oh yeah, of course, Bacchusmon, I forgot about him. This is probably the last one. Null physical damage of 90, recovers HP equal to 30% of damage dealt. And then we have water physical damage of 55, AoE to all their targets, 30% chance to apply immobilization. This is one of his forms. He's got another form as well, but I don't think that's got many stats changes, not 100% sure. But that's my roundup to the guys that do stats debuffs. Now we're going to go over to the tier maker list, and we will put them into a tier list, which one is the best from S tier down to D tier. Okay, right. So this is the tier list for the stats, the stat reduction Digimon, the best stat reduction Digimon in the game. We're going to start off with Loosemon. Loosemon, I'm going to put him in A, because obviously with his resistance to darkness, that's really potent, but also because he has the AoE spam of instant death with a 15% chance of instant death. Really, really strong if you just want to farm out certain Digimon or go and kill random mobs. This does an AoE spam, and you can combine that with the other Digimon to get like a 1 in 5 chance of insta-killing the whole team. Every turn you and the other guy do the instant kill attacks, right? So in my idea, he's probably an A to A+. Next off, we're gonna go with Mirage Geogumon BM. I hope I pronounced this right. I doubt I did, but this is probably the most slept on Digimon I have ever seen. Not only is he resistant to wind and lightning, he has full Mirage Burst, which does an AoE attack, incredibly high damage, light damage, and also it does a 20% damage reduction for every single stat in the game on every single Digimon on the enemy's team in one attack. Honestly, probably one of the most strongest attacks in the game for Mega Plus difficulty. You can obviously use this as well in normal difficulty games as well, but obviously you get if it's 9999 stats on the enemy team, that obviously is a 20% reduction, which will be about 2000 stats on every single stat reduction. So attack, defense, intelligence, SPI, and SPD. There's a 2000 reduction, and it's absolutely insane. And it does an AoE attack. Probably the most slept on, and now will be in my team constantly on the Mega Plus difficulty, because it is just so potent, right? So yeah, probably S plus in my opinion by far. Next off, we're going to go with Chronomon DM. He is also S. I don't think he's as good as the one we just spoke about because of the AoE stats debuffs. But he has Holy Flare, which does crazy damage. It's AoE and it ignores resistances. So it's actually one of the highest DPSs in the game in a sense, because even if they're resistant against fire, you can actually go and basically just attack them anyway, and it does crazy damage. But his second attack as well does dark magic, and it has a 100% chance of crystallization with a 70% chance of reduction of attack, defense, intelligence, and SPI. And if the target's HP is 50% or higher, it actually does increase damage, but it is only single target. But obviously with the other attack of Holy Flare that nullifies resistances, it is still up there with A tier in my opinion, but it's not S tier, but it's not S plus, because this is obviously a debuff ranking, right? But it's definitely up there. In terms of the next one, Mega Dramon, I hope I pronounced that right. So we're gonna go with this guy here. He's gonna be A tier, right? He is gonna be A tier just because he is resistance against darkness, as well as resistance against fire. He has a AoE spam attack of fire that does 100% chance to increase his attack by 20% for 3 turns, which is really good. But the main reason you're going to use him is his single target null damage, 70% chance of 20% reduction of intelligence to the enemy, with a 70% reduction of 70% chance of crystallization. So obviously he's not as good as Chronomon, because he's got 100% chance of crystallization, but he is still quite good if you do not have Chronomon at the moment, okay? Because there is some requirements to get Chronomon, because he is one of the latest Digimon to get in the game, right? So next off, we will go with Jupitamon. I think this is Jupitamon. I couldn't find another profile, so I'm guessing this is Jupitamon. He's going to go in A tier as well. And so Jupitamon, he sort of debuffs and buffs himself. He has a lightning attack that does 50% paralyzation, and then he does another attack that does increased damage to people who are immobilized. So he has a single target damage attack that immobilizes the enemy, not an AoE attack, which is disappointing, but it still does work if you need that immobilization technique, right? In terms of who shall we go with next? So let's go with Ancient Wisdomon. So Ancient Wisdomon, this is not Ancient Wisdom, that's the one before that. This one's Ancient Wisdomon. He's going to go probably A-. I'm going to say A- for him, just because he does some crazy debuffs. He has a single null attack of 105 damage with increased damage to unknown trait, makes him incredibly strong in single target damage. He also has a AoE spam that does null attack damage, AE, with 50% chance to immobilize enemies. And this is all enemies. So I'll actually put him in front of Jupitamon, right? Or maybe even in front of... I don't know. They're about the same, roughly. But basically, he does 50% chance to immobilize all enemies, 70% chance to do a 20% reduction of defense for 3 turns, and increased damage to holy traits. So he's really good for the AoE immobilization. Better than Jupitamon, in my opinion. But this is obviously for stats debuffs, not straight up damage. That is the difference, okay? So next we shall go with... I'm going to butcher this guy's name. I know I'm going to butcher this guy's name. Yeah, I know I'm going to butcher this guy's name. So, Homage Dreadmon. Homage Dreadmon? I don't. He's like the evil guy in the movies, the Digimon movies, the original ones. He is A+. I might be a bit biased towards him because I watched him on the original Digimon. But he has a single target damage that does 40 times 3, so that's 120 damage. Okay, probably one of the highest hitting single target damages in the game. 120 damage in darkness, but it does have a drawback. The lower the user's HP, the lower the damage. So you will only get 120 damage if you are on max HP. If you're on half HP, it will be half of that. So you do have to make sure you're on full HP, and it increases damage to the unknown trait. So if you hit an enemy on full HP with the unknown trait, it's by far the strongest single target damage skill in the game. Ultimate Flare it's called. But the actual one reason we're here for is there's a Black Rain attack that does dark damage to all enemies that do 80 damage, 100% reduction in dark resistances. So this one is like, if you have an enemy team that's weak against darkness, you spam this attack, it lowers the dark resistances, and it also increases the damage it takes from dark damage. Then you can sort of hit them with Ultimate Flare and do crazy damage. So this Digimon here is by far the highest single target damage in the game if you can pull it off correctly. So now we're going to go to Kerismon. I think it's called Kerismon. Basically, it's the evolution, and it's a hard one, dude. I want to put him in... I'm going to just put these here. Yeah, like so. I'm going to put him in the middle of the pack. He's sort of A+ sort of thing. He does plant damage, which is rare. There aren't many Digimon that do sort of plant damage. He also does it does an AoE plant attack down to 55, which is pretty low, but it's also the instant death buff of 10%. So if you combined this guy and this guy together, right, you put these guys here together, they both have, this has 50% chance to do AoE instant kill. This one has 10%, sorry, this one has 10% chance to do insta kill AoE. This one has 15% chance to do AoE. You combine these two together in a single party, there's a 1 in 5 chance of you insta killing the whole entire team, as long as they can get insta killed and they don't have the, they can actually be insta killed and they don't have immunity to it, right? That's why he's really strong. You'd only use him for that. He also has a second ability that 60% chance to do deadly poison, so that's really, really strong as well. Yeah, I'm good. I'm putting him there just because of the instant death more than anything, right? So in terms of one of the campaign guys, Bacchusmon. I wanted to put him to S-, but I don't know. I think he might be it's a hard one, dude. Honestly, he's not as good as him. He's not. Bacchusmon, sort of middle of the pack. It's a hard one because he does water damage, which not many Digimon do. He only has a 30% chance of immobilization. It is an AoE spam, but he is quite low. But his second attack does null attack damage of 90, but it also recovers HP to 30% of damage dealt. So he's, to be honest, he's probably back of the pack. I am going off the other attack. Really, I shouldn't be doing that. He's got so much sustain based on that one single target hit damage, but because he only does 30% chance of immobilization for the entire team, you know what? He's probably B. He's probably B tier, to be fair. So yeah, he's probably B tier. I'm gonna have to go B tier with him. So what else we got? Barbermon. Oh yeah, that's a guy. So this guy here, he's probably pretty slept on as well. He's probably gonna be like, oh, he's easily in the middle of the pack, easily. So he is the only Digimon I've found that has a 100% chance of a 100% chance to do a 30% reduction in SPI for 3 turns. He also has a 80% chance of doing chaos damage, and this is one attack. So you get 2 debuffs in one attack. Really, really strong. And his second attack is an AoE spam with dark damage. It does 70. But like I said, the 80% chance to do chaos, to apply chaos, is really potent, and he's the only Digimon I have found in the game that does that. So he's definitely in the A tier for just for that alone. Who else have we got now? We have got, who should we go with? Let's go with Grace Novamon. Let's go Grace Novamon. So Grace Novamon, we're gonna go B. In terms of applying injury, he doesn't actually know. We're gonna probably go C. So in terms of applying injury, he doesn't actually apply any debuffs, but what he does get is he gets a damage boost. He does an AoE ice attack, which is 20 times 4, so it's 80 damage. But if the target is affected by stats, anomalies, injuries, or disease, it increases the damage. Also increases damage dealt by enemies with fire trait. So this is basically just a combo of every other Digimon in this tier list. Basically, any stats anomalies, he gets a damage boost because of it. So he's basically just a combo for every other Digimon here. That's why he's going into the C. But he is a good Digimon to have in general because he's quite high DPS. Right, Ebimon. This one's a strange one, dude. I could almost put him above the instant death guys, nearly. Oh, I don't know. He's going to be in line with this guy because of the damage he does. But basically what it is this guy is quite unique in the sense that he's the only Digimon that steals enemy stats. So enemy stat changes. He has an attack called Brain Rupture. It steals all stats changes from the enemy, right? And when you steal the stats changes, he has a second attack that does a 90 attack power of electricity. The greater the user stats buffs, the greater the damage, increasing damage to alien trait. So what he does is he will steal the enemy stats buffs, and then he will buff himself because of that. And the more stats buffs he has, the greater his damage. So technically, if he can buff himself enough, he can actually be just as high as the 140, 130 damage if he has 2 or 3 buffs, right? So he's really up there, and he doesn't debuff the enemy, he sort of just steals the buffs from the enemy. So I feel that's like really, really potent, and I think that's underlooked because he's the only Digimon in the game that actually does that, which is really, really cool, and it's kind of unique as well. So in terms of Junimon is going to go down to the B tier. Junimon has a attack that does 90 damage, which is really, really strong. And it does deadly poison, right? So a single target, 90 is very strong, but it's only a single target damage, right? And you want AoE really, but it does 100% chance to do deadly poison. So it does deadly poison 100% chance with 90% damage. So it's pretty strong, but because of the single target, I struggle to. It's not a team comp you want to be using He's not as team against bosses maybe, but in a team comp, it's not good. It's not good in terms of just the usability of her, right? So who else we got now? We can go with the Lilith Mom. So Lilith Mom, S tier, S plus tier. She is by far the best debuffer in terms of AoE, not in terms of damage, but in terms of AoE. She does dark magic of 55, which is okay, is average damage, but 100% chance to apply deadly poison to all enemies with an AoE skill spam, and also imply injury. Injury reduces the chance of injury stops the enemies from healing. That is the main thing that makes her so good. Deadly poison does about 2,000 to 3,000 damage when she is maxed out on Mega Plus difficulty, and with the injury as well, it stops them from actually healing. Any passive healing, any regen of any description, they absolutely do not have, and also it stops them from actually casting heals and stuff like that as well. So just the injury alone makes her S tier, so she is well up there. So yeah, Lilith Mom, probably one of the best debuffers in the game by far. So who else have we got? Oh wait, I done Juno. That's the wrong one. That was actually that one. Hey, that's Jupitermon. Wrong picture. So this guy, Millennium Mon. I think he's called Millennium Mon. He has one attack, right? This guy here has one attack, right? He does a single target damage, which is it's kind of a negative, but it does 100% dark damage. 50% chance to do crystallization, and increases damage to enemies with the magic trait. Probably B tier, right? He's probably so low because of no AoE, single target only. But the 50% chance of crystallization is actually quite strong, and he is strong against null and darkness as well. So that's why he's B tier. Last but not least is Minervamon. Minervamon has AoE spam of 60 null damage, 60% chance of doing poison damage. It's probably B plus, right? Probably B plus, I would say. If I can, yeah, there we go. Her AoE spam with deadly poison is really, really strong. Obviously, Lilith Mon has AoE spam of 100%. That's why she's up there, and she is not. But she also has a second attack, which is merry-go-round with all enemies, high damage through wind, and a 10% crit rate. So that's why she's a B tier. In terms of stats debuffs, this is how I rank them. The top three here are by far the best and game-changing and team-breaking. You want to have these three in your team, absolutely insanely strong. A team, they're good if you haven't got the S tier. B tier is just something you need for filler, and obviously Grace Mon here is just getting attack bonuses based on debuffs, so he just ties in with everything else. That is my setup for the tier list for debuffers. Obviously I've probably missed some Digimon out. Let me know in the comments below if I've missed some Digimon out and what you think is better, if there is better ones. But that's just how I rank them and how I've gone through Digimon, and obviously this will help you in a normal game and not just Mega Plus difficulty. But if you like this video, hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.